Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the A to B podcast, your number one source for entrepreneurship and entertainment in the entire military. We are not endorsed by the DoD, but I'm going to tell you this, though.
I'm going to tell you.
Everyone in the DoD is going to watch what the hell is it that we're doing, okay, guys? So thank you for tuning back in. If this is your first video, make sure that you like, follow, and subscribe. I am your host, like always, Albert Ramos. Always joined by my gracious co-host, Barry Bull. Look at his face.
You knife-handed him.
Yeah, man.
Welcome, everybody. I love it. I love the intensity.
I know that for some viewers, it's probably been like a week, but for us, it's actually been like a couple of minutes since we last saw each other.
That's right.
How's things been with you?
Really good. Really good. I just left the bathroom, and every time I go in there, I'm like, gosh, dang it. You are just awesome, Barry. And so when I say I'm feeling myself, I really mean it. You know, it's like, wow. It's just, goodness. Anyways, guys, that's a terrible joke.
Guys, like always, we bring you guys the guests that you guys want to see. Now, this next guest, you guys want to see him, and you guys don't even know that you guys want to see him yet.
You need him. You need him.
Yeah, you need him. Like, for real, you need him. And the reason for it is because when I was a recruiter in the gracious United States military, I was.
Okay.
I was. From 2016 to 2019.
Mm-hmm.
I was a recruiter down in Puerto Rico.
Now I know who to blame.
One of the things that I always used to sell was, one of the things that always used to happen was, I had a lot of applicants that said, well, does the Marine Corps has a medical field? I always used to hate when people say that to me because I had to reply with honesty. I had to tell them, no, the Marine Corps does not have a medical field. However, as you're about to find out with our next guest, there is a way that you can become a Marine and also transition into becoming a medical officer, or in this case, a physician assistant. So without further ado, here is our next guest. What's going on? His name is Hayden Jolly. He is currently an active...
Jolly?
Yes, sir.
Jolly.
Yeah.
Hayden and he's Jolly. All happy looking?
Yeah, I know. And he is currently an active duty staff sergeant.
Yep.
Correct? And he is actually going to school with a similar program, kind of like the MESEP program. But in order for him to... instead of him commissioning in the United States Marine Corps, he's going to commission in the United States Navy.
Yep. That's right. So I'm just finishing up school right now. I got about 8 months left, and once that happens, I'll commission in the Navy as an O2, actually. So
as an O2, not even an O1.
Yeah.
So
what's that? A Lieutenant JG?
Yeah,
Lieutenant Junior grade.
Lieutenant Junior grade.
I know my Navy rank structure. What's up, dog?
So Hayden and I have known for what, like 2 months now? Like 2 months now. Yeah. So he hit me up in social media, which you guys can see in the link in my bio. He hit me up and he's like, hey man, like I have a couple of real estate related questions. So our conversation actually started about real estate.
Yeah.
Because he's looking, once he becomes an officer, or probably before that, he's trying to buy a property. And I was like, yeah, man, so what do you do? Tell me a little bit more about yourself.
I was looking for a realtor. So anyway, I'm sorry.
Yeah. So he was telling me what he does. And like, dude, we have to get you into the podcast. Like, for real, we have to get you to the podcast. So, Jolly, I want to ask you, first of all, I want to thank you for being here with us today.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. I hope that this podcast reaches a lot of people, because this is something that not a lot of people know. And what we want to dig in with you is, how do you even find out about this program? How do you apply for the program? Is there a MAR admin out there for it? Like, all of these questions that as a Marine, you don't even know how to do it. Okay. So before we get into that, artillery, like, bro, let's be real. Like, how the hell you as an artillery man found out about this program?
So I mean, I was working on my undergrad in exercise science at the time, and I was on my second enlistment, I believe. Stationed in 29 Palms, not having the best of times out there.
As an 0811?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah. Respect.
And so I was working on my undergrad in exercise science and kind of had the goal to get out and be a personal trainer on the side while I was going to school. And then I kind of found the physician assistant route, and I was like, okay, this is what I want to do, so I'm gonna get out and go to PA school. Well, then an opportunity arose for me to go work at the Mace as an FFI instructor. And I didn't really want to pass up that opportunity, so re-enlisted again, went over to the Mace, did that. And I was like, okay, after this, I'm done. Going to get out, go to PA school.
What's PA school?
Physician assistant school.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. And so at that time, I didn't know about the program that I'm currently in. And my very first battery gunnery sergeant, one of my mentors, kind of knew what I wanted to do on the outside. And he was like, hey, man, like I did this. It's an option for you, you know, rather than getting out and going to physician assistant school. You know, you can apply for it, go to school full time, still on active duty, similar to MECEP. And then you'll transition into the Navy and be a physician assistant. And I was like, well, I mean, you can't beat that opportunity.
Yeah.
Like getting paid active duty, going to school for free. You know, they're paying for all of it too. So I was like, you know what, I'll go for it. At least try. You know, the worst they can say is no.
Yeah.
And so for about the next year and a half, I kind of did my research and talked with that. He was a lieutenant at the time, my mentor.
Started as your battery gunny and
He
then
did,
became
yeah.
a lieutenant. Okay.
Yeah, became a lieutenant in the Navy.
Yeah.
So kind of chatted with him about the prerequisites, application process, and all this, because like you said, like it's not a very well known program.
Yeah.
So I kind of had to navigate all that a lot on my own, and then with the help of him, and he put me in contact with some other prior Marines that had done it as well. I think there's less than 10 of us that have done it.
Wow.
That's crazy.
insane.
Yeah. So I got in contact with them, and they helped me out a lot, navigate it. Kind of had to follow the Navy's administrative side of it because there's a NAV admin that gets released every year about it.
Nav admin, not Mara admin.
Yep. Just NAV admin. You can Google that and it'll bring you right to the Navy admin site.
Okay.
And so kind of followed that while I was working on all the prerequisites, trying to get all that done.
Okay.
And then just kind of
Now I have a lot of questions, but before we even deep dive into that, right? So, okay, so why, did you know from the beginning of your career that you wanted to do something in the medical field?
Not necessarily, no. I mean, I joined the Marine Corps for the educational benefits, you know, to serve my country. And at the time when the height of the Afghanistan war was going on, you know, that's one of the main reasons I joined. Not knowing if I wanted to make a career out of it or anything. And so after my first enlistment, I had made sergeant in 3 years. And so I was like, you know what, I don't really have a good plan of getting out what I want to do, so I'll re-enlist again, which I'm glad I did because numerous other opportunities started arising, like getting to go work at the FFI schoolhouse.
Yeah.
And then finding out about this program, I'm super glad that I didn't get out, you know, after my first 4 like I kind of had originally planned to after about 2 years. So
You're a 0811?
yes, sir. Yeah.
And your first unit was 311 and 29 Palms?
No, my first unit was 210 in Camp Lejeune.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
He's been all around.
Yeah, I deployed on the 22nd MEU with them and then got back from there. And then that's when I PCS at 29 Palms.
Yeah, how different was that?
A lot. You go from, you know, trees, green everywhere to no green anywhere and just desert. So
What? There's a lake there.
Yeah.
What you
I was
talking
gonna
about?
say,
There is
dog.
a lake there.
You're
It's a
being
beautiful
very
lake.
critical right now. Of
It's a beautiful lake over there in 29 Palms. Guys, again, I say it every podcast that 29 Palms get brought up. 29 Palms is a beautiful place out in it's a desert
There's
oasis.
palm trees everywhere.
Palm trees. That's why it's
That's
called
why
29 Palms.
They haven't found the 30th palm. I'm sure they
Yeah.
will at some point.
Yeah,
but
at some point, maybe it's in Joshua Tree. Maybe I don't know. But
Take a look.
Look it up. It's right next to Vegas. Y'all know
Palm
Vegas,
Springs.
dude. Yeah,
Guys.
29 Palms, guys. Great duty station to be
Request
at.
it.
Specifically as an 0811.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you're never in the
Yeah,
field.
you barely ever go to the field.
You're never in the
barely ever
field,
go
and
to
you're
the
like,
field.
this is so awesome.
You don't support every single ITX. That
Yeah,
goes
you
there,
don't
know?
support.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't go to the field for 2 or 3 months at a time. No,
Yeah,
no,
no.
that never happens over
Right.
the 29 Palms. Okay, so you didn't know what actually started bringing that up of like, man, I really want to do this program.
So, you know, I started thinking about long term, like being an artilleryman, not that transferable into the outside unless I want to be a cop or
Yep.
SWAT team, what have you. And that's not really what I wanted to do. So I started thinking about other career paths. And I mean, there's always a need for people in the medical field. So that career field is always going to be around and also comes with great benefits, things like that. So I kind of started looking at different options in the medical field. And
Nice.
I had a friend at the time who was going to PA school and kind of chatted with them about it, and it sparked my interest. So did a little bit of my own research, and yeah, so that's kind of the route that I started to pursue with my undergraduate, and then just kept knocking away classes while I was on active duty.
So you was going to college as an 0811.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
I thought you couldn't do
what
that.
a sinner.
Yeah.
Wow, guys.
I thought that's not possible.
That's not possible. You cannot
you don't have any time.
You cannot
There's
be
no
in a,
time.
You cannot be in a combat MOS.
If there's a way to do like an earthquake edit right here, like the earth is shaking. You know?
Oh my God. 0811 that went to school. How is that possible?
I mean, it takes a lot of discipline and dedication to do it. I mean, but there's definitely time, you know.
So making it a priority.
Yes, absolutely.
That's the first fucking thing that you should do.
Yeah.
Making it
The
a fucking
P word.
priority.
Yeah. A lot of late
Priority,
nights.
Albert. Okay, keep your mind out of the gutter.
A lot of late nights, a lot of weekends you got to sacrifice because you got to do schoolwork instead. But I
But
mean,
look at you now.
Yeah,
dude.
yeah, it paid
it's-
off. Yeah, for
it's
sure.
crazy. So okay, though now, because I know there's gonna be people out there saying, "Oh yeah, it's easy to do 12 credits." How many credits did you actually have before even getting accepted to the program?
90, I think.
So this guy, you were going to school full time pretty much as an 0811.
Yeah, not completely full time, but about 3 or 4 classes at a time.
No, dog, it's
Yeah.
fucking full time. Let's be honest. Guys, he's just trying to be. No, that's full time, dog. Because there were field ops in between that.
Oh, yeah, for
Were there
sure.
any deployments in between?
3. Yeah.
So 3 deployments, field ops. How were you able to go to school and go to a field op at the same time?
I mean, the cell service out in the field is very variable. You know that.
Yes.
So
great.
I didn't want to take the chance of like going to the field and having an assignment due or anything. So most of the time what I would do is get it all done prior to going to the field. That way I didn't even have to worry about it while I was out in the field.
So proactivity.
Yeah.
Another P word. Being proactive.
Not your favorite, but a good one. Albert.
So being proactive. Knowing what the hell is it that you want, making your things a priority, those are all things that will set you up for success. Would you freaking look at that? And there you are, your dumbass, 0811, 0311, 0331, any of the 03s really. You know, what are the AAV guys? What are those?
no
Tracks.
idea.
Tracks, you know,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
whatever your MOS
Yacht
is, the yacht yachts thing, you go, oh, I don't have time for me to go to college. Now, is it? I'm not trying to undermine the difficulty of it because I understand that it's very difficult. But we have here an 0811 that's been in how many years now?
11.
Thank you. How long have you been in school?
A little over 2 years now.
So 9 years.
Are you talking about total school or just
No, just total before you got accepted into the program.
Oh shoot, man! Like I started knocking away college classes around 2017, so
Jeez.
7 years. Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like 7 years. Here he is in the flesh and bones. And because a lot of people, man, they're going to see this podcast and they're going to go like, oh, I can't do that.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You sure as hell can, as long as you have your priorities. And that's okay. If you don't have your priorities straight up right now and you don't know what to do with your life, let me tell you this little podcast called the A to B podcast that can help you connect you with people like him, with people like me that know people like him.
But
and
you
we'll
gotta
get
want
to
it.
the one point.
You gotta
Yeah,
want it. If you don't
100%.
want it, you're not going to take the classes. You're not going to be in a position even remotely close to what he's in. And it's just take the initiative. Like you
No, it's
said,
good
make
that
it a
you mentioned
priority.
that too, because like when I started taking college classes, I had no idea that I was going to end up pursuing this program.
Yeah, exactly.
And then just being proactive at the time and getting it done. I mean, it set me up for success when I found out about the program and was able to apply like a year after I found out about
Yeah.
it.
So what would you say to Marines out there who are like, I'm not going to go to college because I'm never going to use that, or what would you say to them?
I mean, college isn't for everyone. There's still trade work and things like that. But I mean, take advantage of what the military offers you, while you can. Like the tuition assistance, whether you take traditional college classes or if you go to, one of the trade schools or whatever, they'll pay for it. And it's not cheap on the outside. So I would just say take advantage of the educational opportunities while you have the
Yeah,
have the
let's
chance to.
just say like a hypothetical, you're an 0811, you've been in the Marine Corps. Let's just say that you're a student and you physically go to, I don't know, Columbia University, right? And they're upset there, they're protesting and they want to stop you from going to class. What would happen? What would you do? Would you go to class still?
I mean, I don't know. I really don't. I haven't been put in that position before, so and it's different for me. I can't really speak much to it because the campus that I went to was on a military installation. So
I see.
Yeah. So you went to the education center?
no, for this program specifically, there's a campus. It's down in San Antonio.
Oh yeah, that's right.
yeah,
That's right.
yeah.
That's right. Okay. So we're
Damn.
gonna get into that. We're gonna get into that, right? But we were last podcast that you guys probably gonna see somewhere, is gonna pop up somewhere up here. We were talking about, the politics. Well, specifically in that video, we were talking about the MCRD politics, right?
Yeah.
Me and him being 0811s, I know
Is
the
it
politics.
political?
Well, you too, you know that too, because you were a first sergeant over there with one of the batteries. So
Sergeant Major.
yeah, Sergeant Major. Okay.
111.
So you were a Sergeant Major 111.
Sergeant Major. So you don't have got to call 911. You call 111. Okay, that's what we used to tell them out there. You know what I mean?
So so he was Sergeant Major, so he understands to some extent the politics that I'm about to mention, right?
It's good too because I got some politics stories to this whole
Yeah.
Oh, I
thing
bet.
as well. Yeah.
Because
if you don't want to be an 0811,
then you ain't shit.
Yeah.
When I told them I want a lab move, I got put to the side so fucking quickly. I was like, you're a fucking piece of shit. They were to me like, you're a fucking piece of shit. You want to be 0811? Motherfucker, I send you to the field right now.
Yeah.
How was that experience for you?
you don't want to be an 0811 because you ain't been in the field enough.
Yeah.
You pissant.
Yeah.
Look at you. I
Yeah.
knew it.
Yeah. Not enough time in the field. No, but so I was on the special duty, like type 2 special duty assignment, I think is what you call it, when I was an FFI instructor at the schoolhouse. So I wasn't even in my MOS.
Oh, that's why. Loophole.
Yeah. However, whenever I applied for this program, or before I even had to apply for it, I had to request a conditional release from the Marine Corps. Basically them saying, hey, we're willing to let you go if you get accepted. And, that gets routed through the chain of command, the first general officer in the chain of command. And so I submitted the conditional release. The TBS CO had signed off on it and sent it to the TCOM commanding general. And about 2 weeks later, I got an email back saying that they were not recommending approval for it.
And you're like, what?
Yeah. And so, I had submitted all my transcripts with it, letters of recommendation, everything to it, like explaining the program because it's not well known, explaining the process of it and everything. And all they said was not in the best interest of the Marine or the armed forces.
Wow.
And so, yes, I did say, what the hell? How is this not in the best interest of me or the armed forces as a whole,
Because there was some dumbass that didn't understand the program, thought you couldn't do
And
the
they were
But
no
let me
way.
see. I'm letting my bias control me.
No,
Go
they were
ahead,
actually
please.
$89.99.
Wow.
Wow.
Say it isn't so.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. So a sergeant major.
Uh-huh.
So fast forward a little bit, it's like 3 months. I'm like trying to get with my command about it, the TBS command. Nobody's really doing anything. And so I ended up requesting mass to the 2-star.
Hello.
Wow.
Just because they didn't give me a legitimate reason, didn't really explain why or anything. And so I got the opportunity to speak with him. And
Okay, but hold on. That's a big step.
yeah.
That's the right step, though. Would you
It's
say
the right
step?
I would, but that's a huge step. We all know that as Marines, every Marine uses request mass as the nuclear option that their hand hovers over the button. And most don't press it because what are some things that can come out of that? A lot of negativity.
Yeah, I mean, like I realized that, I was putting my reputation on the line.
Yeah.
That they could say no because I said so. I mean, so I
And then
recognize
you would
that.
still have to go back at some point,
Right.
to 311 or
Wherever they would have sent me after Quantico, yeah. Most likely back to 311.
Yeah, I know.
But, in my mind, I was thinking, hey, it's either I'm going to apply to this program to have the opportunity to do it on active duty, and get paid full time and do it, or I'm going to get out. So either way, you're losing me,
Yeah.
But, and so I requested mass, got the opportunity to speak with the CG, and, I kind of explained the situation to him. I was like, hey, I applied for this program. This is what it is. I was just curious as to why it's not being recommended for approval. And the CG was a little lost as to what I was talking about. Wasn't really familiar with it coming across his desk or anything. And so I don't know this for certain, but commanding generals are very busy men
Yeah, of
or
course.
women.
But doesn't he need the endorsement of it?
Exactly. And so what it seemed like happened to me was his sergeant major was like, hey, we got this Marine so-and-so. He just re-enlisted, got a bonus, and his MOS is very undermanned with staff NCOs, so we shouldn't recommend this. And, with the general being busy, I imagine.
Is
he
that a
was just like,
thing, Barry? Is that a possibility?
It is,
in
yeah.
your experience?
But also for the CG, that Marine is going to have the staff section. So they're going to have like their own administrative section. And you're going to have Marines in there that have signature authority for the CG.
Oh,
Now, I don't know. Because obviously I wasn't there, but it could have been a little bit of funny business going on.
oh,
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I don't know either, but that's just what it seemed like to me. And so the commanding general was like, I'll go take a look at this situation and we'll get back to you. Right after that, his sergeant major yoked me up, chewed me out essentially for, talking to the general without going through him or anything. But I did request mass, and so he was up verbally and visibly upset that I had just re-enlisted. I got a bonus, but I was in Quantico doing the FFI thing at the time, so I wasn't even in my MOS. And him giving me the reason that your MOS is very undermanned with staff NCOs, it didn't make sense to me because I'm not even doing my MOS at the time,
But we made our mission. What the fuck are you talking about? That on their man. We made our recruiting mission. Don't they have enough people?
Yeah.
Crazy how that shit works, huh, Marine Corps?
Yeah. And so, I shook it off. I listened to him, what he had to say, and I was like, with all due respect, I had all the paperwork, the NAV admin saying that applying to the program superseded any re-enlistment, any bonus that you may have received, all of this stuff. And I was just like, okay, and then lo and behold, 5 days later, my package was at headquarters Marine Corps at the time.
All that was in the package?
Yes.
If you're a sergeant major out there, you're in a position to recommend these packages. Can you just read them? Please, please read them and do what they say. Just do what they say. You know what I mean? Like, you didn't like it. You didn't like Jolly. Nobody cares. I don't care. And now, because think about that. Because of my inability as a sergeant major to read, or your inability, and Marines, this is a great, great, great example of how not to give up on your dreams.
Yep.
Because that's a freaking leap of faith. I'd have been losing some damn sleep over, am I going to request mass? What's going to happen? All for a guy who just didn't like it and probably didn't even read the package.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm going to tell you this, man. Some of y'all leaders out there, y'all fucking lucky. Y'all lucky. Y'all lucky that we don't do this for the actual clout. And I have to say this, man, that y'all lucky that we don't do this for the actual clout. And the reason why I say that is because we do not want to jeopardize our guests because they're still in the armed forces. And we understand this whole social media fucking bullshit and all that stuff. Y'all lucky that we're not in this for the clout, because if not, I promise you that there will be some heavy name dropping and everyone would freaking know who the hell is it that you are. Y'all lucky, man. Like, some of y'all right now that are part of this stuff, and when we talk to our guests, y'all lucky that our best interest is not for the clout, that our best interest is for him to share the information and the bullshit that he had to go through in order for him to be successful and allow him to continue to serve his country.
You know what pisses me off? You know what's funny? Is there's these little private senior enlisted officer chats where they're like, don't talk to Sergeant Major Bull, don't follow him, don't engage with him, right? I never did nothing like that. Like, oh no, dog, you can't go do this just because I don't like you. But you got senior leaders out there that do that.
The problem is the sergeant major didn't even know him.
No.
But the problem was that he had how's that called? He made himself, just off the paperwork, he had himself a painted picture of the type of Marine that Jolly was without ever even calling him. Dude, as a sergeant major, is it impossible? Like, let's say, for example, what sergeant major was that? Was he like a regimental? I don't want you to say commander or anything.
2-star, it's got to be division level.
So division level.
TCOM.
So TCOM level, okay? So TCOM level. Sergeant major. Is it impossible if you
That used to be 3-star.
It did. Yeah. Changed to
So is it impossible if you're like at that command to contact the lowest of the lowest? Like, let's say if you want to talk to a PFC in one of your units, is it impossible for you to be like, hey, let me get PFC such and such up here? Is it impossible
They would
to do
be
that?
there yesterday. If that ever happened, and yes, it's possible, especially at TCOM.
So
that place ain't even big.
Yeah.
So
you ain't TCOM is, because what is it? It's Training Education Command, right? So you're not dealing with all the herding cats of like a regiment and the Marines and all the mission and stuff like that. No, man, you're exactly what it sounds like. Training and education.
So that's my point, because this something very similar, and this is like the third time that I say this shit.
You have these little small pockets.
You
and
know?
FFI Marines would have been one of those.
Yeah, no, but there's this programs that Marines that actually care about their career progression look into, and then the sergeant major, in my case, was a first sergeant and a major that didn't fucking know what the hell it was that they were talking about. And all of a sudden, they didn't want to recommend it because they didn't understand it.
Exactly.
That was the same. I can guarantee it was the same thing. And I'm not saying necessarily that sergeant major is bad. He is a sergeant major. He got to that position because of something, right?
Right, yeah.
But at the same time, man, like, stop being so ignorant at the fact that there's other people out there that do their research for their personal career progression. And man, all it takes is
Dog, that's what happened to you, Albert. They didn't read your package.
That's what I'm saying.
You did the homework. You spelled it out. You folded the paper. You
That's what I'm
tabbed it.
saying.
You highlighted it. And your leaders just didn't even read it.
That's what I'm
and
saying.
And to add insult to injury, not only did they not read it, they made big decisions and recommendations based on not being informed. And all they would have to do is ask you, hey, am I getting this wrong? And why do I say this?
Just have the
why do I
conversation
say
with the
this?
Marine.
Yeah.
Hey, Jolly, I need to see Jolly up in my office, or whoever his senior leader is. Hey, dog,
Exactly.
I'm getting ready to not recommend this. And before you freaking lose your mind on me, what am I missing? This is why I would not recommend it. What am I missing, brother?
Yeah. And I mean, it got endorsed, all the way up
Within
to
5 days.
No, yeah,
Oh.
within 5 days. But like the original package, like got endorsed by the Mace director, the TBS CEO.
Yeah, he's
the
not important, apparently.
TBS.
They're not important.
The TBS sergeant
TBS,
major.
who's he?
Yeah, yeah.
That's only a high visibility billet. I mean, what the hell does he know?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
You got to be hand selected for that, but whatever. I'm
Yeah.
sure it just.
But
Jesus
yeah,
Christ.
lo and behold, 5 days after I spoke to that 2-star, it got approved.
Do not give up on your goals and your dreams. Don't let an arbitrary no or you're not recommended, convince you that it's too late, it's over, I quit, I give up, I'm going to go do this. No. Jolly's a great example. Don't stop chasing it. Make the person with the authority to tell you no.
Yeah.
Exactly. And with that being said, that doesn't mean that everything should be a yes. And that's
Correct.
okay. And that's okay. Not everything is going to be a yes. But if a person is telling you no without a valid explanation, which was what happened in your case, without a valid, in my case, really, quite honestly, what you need to do is you need to go to the next person that will give you either a solid no with a solid answer.
Dude, humble yourself. If you're a leader, you're going to not recommend somebody, call them to your office or go to where they are. I don't care how you do. I don't care if you guys go get freaking smoothies. Sit them down and say, hey, dog, this is what's going through my mind, man. I need to hear from you right now. This is it right here.
Yeah.
So, what I'm going to not, as it stands right now, I want to not recommend this. What am I missing? Educate me. I've never seen one of these. I'll be real with a Marine. I never seen one of these. So, this was
10 Marines in the entire Marine Corps.
and if I would have sat there as that TCOM Sergeant Major and said, hey, this is why, because you got this bonus, you're short staffed, whatever the case is, Jolly would have been like, I understand that, Sergeant Major, but it's right here. This is why I submitted this. Roger that. Okay, see, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
I need to have more attention to detail, and that's why I called you up here. And now at least Jolly's walking away like, well, okay, he was getting ready to pump one in the stands as a sergeant major, but at least he called me.
But in what happened was you end up getting called in, you got chewed out, you got forcibly talked to. Let's not say chewed out.
Yeah.
You got forcibly talked to because you
But
went around
still,
everybody.
You ain't getting called to see the 2-star sergeant major just to say hi.
Yeah.
Like I would be stressed out, and I'm sure you were, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So let's go ahead. Okay. Okay, so guys, we're losing somebody right now.
I just figuratively.
Yeah, we're losing somebody right now in the podcast. Okay, in the podcast. Not. He's not leaving. He's just leaving this episode. Okay, guys. Hey, he has to take off. He has some personal matters they have to attend to. So, guys, make sure that we're going to continue this conversation right now. But Barry, he has to take off. Barry, thank you so much for coming.
Yeah,
I'll see you next week, brother.
Yeah. Hit me up on Instagram at Bull5277, TikTok at Bull52772. Brother, thank you for coming, man. Yeah. I'm really proud of you. And it might sound a little, not weird, but I'm proud of you because you really stayed the course. You know,
Yeah, and you stood up for yourself, for
you
sure.
stood up for yourself. That's a big decision, and I know a lot of our viewers out there might not be military. I can't stress that enough. I would have lost some sleep, man. So I'm proud of you, dude, and congratulations.
Yeah,
Look
appreciate
forward
it.
to hearing from you. Okay.
Thanks.
Now, enjoy this short message by our sponsors. I'm kidding, we have none. Okay, but Jolly, let's continue the conversation.
Yeah,
let's
yeah.
go. Let's go ahead and continue the conversation. So, before he actually left, I had a question for you, and it was regarding, right? It's like, okay, so from the moment that you found out about this program, you started getting mentored from that battery gunny, and that, you know, and he mentored you for like a year and a half, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
from the moment that you started your actual package to the moment that you finished, how much time elapsed?
It was about a year and a half.
Okay.
But, you know, I'd already had most of like the general education prerequisites done. And so now I was just working on the specific prerequisites for that program. So it was a lot of like science and math classes.
Okay.
And then building my package essentially.
So probably longer than 1.5 years.
Well, when I found out about the program too, when I applied was about a year and a half. Yeah.
Okay, a year and a half. But you, like I said, you already had a lot of those classes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so where did you go in order for you to find out like the requisites about this program?
So there's an educational program manual for all medical service corps programs. So like nursing, physician assistant, radiology, healthcare administrator. There's a program manual, and then an actual like nav admin that gets released every year saying like, hey, this is the deadline to submit all your stuff. These are the resources. So that program manual, some other stuff, and then, you know, just chatting with other people that had already done it before. They kind of guide you in the right direction.
Okay, and you have to do the package from start to finish yourself, kind of like the MISA package.
Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
you build it yourself, and it's about that thick. It's a
wow.
textbook. So it's like, you know, the actual application itself is only like 9 pages, but then you got to add in all your fitness reports, personal awards, like interview appraisals for the program. So like speaking with other medical officers, and them kind of interviewing you of why you want to do this, what's your leadership experience.
How did you manage to do that?
I knew obviously the
the-
one, and then he put me in contact with some others.
Okay.
Some of his mentors that were, I think, 04s and 05s.
Okay.
And so I, you know, sent them emails like, you know, good morning, sir, ma'am, interested in this program. Would you be willing to interview me for my interview appraisal for my package? And all of them were very willing to. And they weren't all in person. Some of them were actually like over the phone or video conference. So,
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
How many you had to do?
3 minimum. And then from prior people that had put in their application, they said the board didn't like any more than 4. So 3 to 4.
Okay, 3 to 4.
Yeah.
Okay. So year and a half passed by. Obviously there was that issue that happened that you had to talk to your 2-star in your chain of command. After your package got approved, what happened then?
So there was 2 steps. Like I talked about the conditional release, I had to get that approved before I could even apply. Because that has to go in your package for the board to see like, hey, the Marine Corps is willing to let you go if you get accepted.
Okay.
So that got approved. I put that in my package.
How complicated was that?
The conditional release? Well, that's what got caught up with the 2-star.
Okay. That was what it was caught up. Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
And not to get back to that, but a big part of what they didn't understand was it's like, this isn't a ticket for the Marine Corps like releasing me right away. This is all contingent of me just being accepted into the program. So like I haven't even gotten accepted yet. But yeah, so I put that in the package. The package was due, I think like July 31st was the deadline for it. So submitted it, and then the board convened like 2 weeks later, I think.
Board for the Navy, because this has absolutely nothing to do with
Yes.
the Marine Corps.
Yep.
Okay, so you had to submit it to the board, and then they had to approve you for that. And then you said 2 weeks later? That's pretty fast.
Well, no, so the board convened 2 weeks after the deadline for the
Oh,
packages.
okay. I'm guessing there wasn't that many packages then.
Oh, no, there was a lot.
Really?
Yeah. Well, they were all Navy. And there was a couple other Marines. I knew one other Marine who had applied that year as well.
Okay.
But most of them were all Navy.
Okay.
And I was actually, where you send the package to is in Bethesda, Maryland at Walter Reed. That's where they have the board at. And so I was in Quantico at the time, so I just like hand delivered my package up there. And yeah, I mean, there was a a stack
Wow.
that tall of packages.
Why
so.
do you feel that? Obviously, most of them were Navy, but why do you feel that not more Marines know about this program?
Nobody talks about it. And again, it's not a MAR admin that comes out. It's not well known. And yeah, I mean, just not many people know about it. And, you know, at least since I got accepted and the other few Marines that have done it before me, like we created there was already the Facebook page created before or when I got accepted.
Okay.
So
What's the Facebook page name?
it's called Marines and IPAP. So IPAP is the Inter-Service Physician Assistant Program.
Okay.
So it's for anyone that is interested in the program or just kind of wants some more information. It's just a Facebook Messenger group that, you know, you can ask questions in, and, you know, people that have gone through can answer them for you, guide you in the application process, answer questions about prerequisites or commissioning in general. So
Now, you mentioned that there's actually other fields that you can go into, not just physician assistant.
yeah, absolutely.
So there's other fields. So in other words, you can, if you wanted to apply to another program, you also could have applied to one of those other programs, right?
I could have, yeah, but the prerequisites and stuff are different for each one.
Okay, but what made you choose specifically physician assistant? Was it just because of that mentor that you had, or
No, I had, like I talked about before, I had gone to Quantico for the FFI job. I knew somebody that was in physician assistant school at the time and was kind of trying to decide what way in the medical field I wanted to go. And that's the route that I wanted to go. And so
Okay.
I was on the border of getting out and going to physician assistant school because I didn't know this program existed. And then when I found out about it, I was like, that's perfect, you know?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, got you. So that's the program that you actually wanted. Can you explain to people, really me guys, it's like what the hell is it that a physician assistant does? Like, are you a medical doctor? Like, what's the difference in between that and, you know, like, because I honestly don't know what. Well, I know because you just explained it to me off camera. But like, what is the difference in between a physician assistant and I guess a general doctor?
Okay. Yeah. So general doctors they're medical doctors. So they go to, you know, their 4 years of undergraduate degree, their 4 years of medical school, and then anywhere from like 3 to 6 years of a residency in a specific specialty. So, I mean, that's 12 plus years of school that they're going to.
Yeah.
Physician assistants are mid-level providers. And so we have a lot of the same capabilities that medical doctors do. Like we can prescribe medications, we can do minor procedures, primary care providers, like family practice and general primary care is what physician assistants are trained to do. So like primary care providers in the military, a lot of them are physician assistants. They're seeing 15, 20 patients a day at sick call or just general appointments, doing like commissioning physicals or what have you, just seeing you if you don't feel well or if you had a medical issue. They're seeing you at the primary care level, and if you need any further evaluation, can put in referrals to get you to where you need to go.
Got you. And obviously, since the Marine Corps, not the Marine Corps, but the military, I'm just going to use the term military, right?
Yeah.
The DOD is sending you to school. Have you had to pay absolutely anything?
Nothing at all.
You're getting paid probably, right?
I'm getting paid still on active duty, and I'm a full-time student. So
Okay. So,
now, I will say during my undergrad, when I did find out about the program, I wanted to apply as soon as possible. And using tuition assistance, you can only take 2 classes at a time. So wanting to take more classes than 2 at a time, I was having to come a little bit out of pocket to take extra classes.
did the FAFSA cover it?
No, I didn't because I'm single, not married, no kids, so I didn't qualify for FAFSA.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now, my question to you is, how much time do you have to give back to the Marine Corps or to the military now, since they're sending you to school for this long-term program?
Yeah, so after my program specifically, the physician assistant program, we owe 3 years back to the Navy.
That's it?
3 years, yeah.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so only 3 years back.
Yeah. However, if you want to retire as an officer, you have to do 10 years as a commissioned
10
officer.
years. Okay, so that's pretty constant also in the Navy. Okay.
Yeah.
So you have to do 3 years, but if you want that retirement paycheck, which I'm pretty sure that you do, obviously, because it's a guaranteed paycheck. But at the same time, like, is that degree that they're going to give you good also in the civilian sector? So if you really wanted to do the 3 and be like, man, fuck y'all, like I'm out, right? Can you also get out and do the same thing?
Yeah, that's a fantastic question because I get asked that a lot. Can you go be a PA on the outside right away?
Yeah.
And the answer is yes, absolutely, because the program itself is affiliated with a civilian university. So the curriculum, the syllabus, and everything comes from the University of Nebraska Medical Center.
Okay.
And they're just affiliated with the DoD's physician assistant program. So the degree that I get handed is not from the United States Navy or the Department of Defense. It's from the University of Nebraska Medical Center.
Oh, wow.
And then the board certification that we take at the end to be certified and to be able to practice, that's a national certification. So all physician assistant schools or all physician assistant students take that same board certification exam.
Yeah.
So as soon as I'm done with the military, I can absolutely go and practice on the outside without having to go back to school.
And you have all that experience too now.
Yes, yeah. So at least 3+ years of experience. And also, while you're in the military still, you can do what we call moonlighting. And so like on the weekends, or if I'm off for a week, I can go out to a civilian clinic and pick up some extra hours.
Really?
make
And
some
do you
extra-
get paid as a civilian or you get paid as a...
civilian?
Oh boy. Okay, so
Yeah.
you had 90 credits before you started the program, right?
Yep.
So and now they're sending you to school. Are you getting a bachelor's degree or are you getting a master's degree?
Yeah, so the physician assistant program that I'm going to itself is divided into 2 phases. The first phase is all didactic learning. So you're in the classroom, you're in the lab, you're practicing your physical exam skills, all that. That's a 1.5 years in Fort Sam Houston, Texas, which is in San Antonio. At the end of that, they grant you a bachelor's degree, again, from the University of Nebraska.
So you already have that?
Yes.
Okay, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So I got that back in December.
Nice.
And then after that, you move on to your clinical year where you're rotating through, I believe we rotate through 13 or 14 different specialties. Spend about a month, 4 to 5 weeks in each specialty. And that's about 14 months. And then at the culmination of that, and then after you pass your board certification exam, you get granted a master's degree. It's a master's in physician assistant studies.
Wow. And then after that, you get orders for your first unit, right?
Yes.
So where are you currently at in the process right now?
I'm about 6 months into my clinical year. So
Okay, so you're in the very last step.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
I
you're
got-
about to get orders to the Navy.
Yeah, yeah.
You're about to get commission.
Yeah.
Do you get commission here?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, good. Send me an invite. I'll
Yeah, for
go.
sure, man.
I'll promise you I'll go.
Yeah.
So okay, so you're about 6 months away.
8 months away.
You're about 8 months away of you getting commission as a what?
Lieutenant junior grade, which is a O2 in the Navy.
So not even an O1.
Yeah.
You don't even start at the. But is it because of your time in the Marine Corps, or is it because of that? That's how you start.
That's just how the program manual is laid
So
out.
everyone, regardless of if you get accepted to that program, regardless of how much time and grade, regardless of all of that stuff, you start as an O2.
Yes.
Wow, that's a really
All
good.
physician assistants that go through this program will commission as an O2.
Wow, that's a really good gig.
Yeah.
Now, what about your time in the Marine Corps? How would that get added? Because you've been in 11 years now,
yeah,
right?
yeah, so-
Do they count the 2 years of studies
Yes.
as active?
Yep.
Wow. Okay, so you've been in 11 years. So essentially, you can do 21, 22 years and retire with your officer pay. Wow, dude, that's a really good gig, man.
Yeah, yeah. So by the time I graduate, I'll be almost at like 12 years. And so, my plan is to do the 10 years as an officer to get that retirement. So I'll end up doing just about 22 years.
Yeah, but in your shape and all the stuff that you're at and your experiences as a Marine and all that stuff. Dude, because I used to love when officers, those officers were just in the military. Because some of them were like, oh, yeah, now I'm an officer. Now I work for the Navy, because there's some of them that are like independent, but they still work with like the hospitals and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, man, I was in the Army, or I was in the... And you connect with those people better.
Yeah.
Right? Imagine you, man, that you're going to be working in the Navy and probably seeing a shit ton of Marines as well.
Yeah, well, it's not guaranteed that I just go work at a hospital or a clinic. Like a lot of battalion or regimental medical officers
True.
now are PAs. And
True.
so I could easily just go back with the Marines and be a battalion medical officer, battalion surgeon. Yeah.
How ironic it would be.
Yeah, if I go back to artillery unit.
No, not artillery unit, to that TCOM unit, and now you have to
man,
see the
yeah.
sergeant major.
I mean, I would assume he's retired by now.
Well,
but,
fucking
yeah.
hope so. Yeah, I fucking surely hope so, man. I'm
Yeah.
telling you. But Man, that is what do you want to do? Like now obviously because you're about to make some life decisions.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, so what do you want to do?
I mean, I think at least my first couple years after I graduate, I would like the clinic and hospital time just for the experience of it. Because coming from a Marine Corps background, I've barely any medical experience besides of the past few years of school. So I would like to go to a clinic or a hospital, and then after that, I wouldn't mind going back with the Marines.
Okay.
Because I can relate to them on that level and mentor them if any of them are interested in this program.
Yeah, of course.
Or just mentor them in general.
Yeah,
'Cause
well,
I can-
hopefully this podcast, man, a lot of people see it. As long as we get one person that might be interested out there that might see this stuff, because man, I'm telling you, when I was a recruiter, I used to tell people that this was possible, but I never even knew how to even fucking begin.
Yeah.
You know, I would just tell him like, yeah, man, it's possible. I probably told him that. Probably told my production manager that.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, man, it's probably possible. Yep, you can definitely do it. But if they would have asked me how to do it, I was like, man, I don't fucking know how to
Yeah.
fucking do that thing.
Yeah, but it's good. But I wanted to add another thing too. Your question about what do PAs do? After you graduate from PA school, you can further specialize into specific specialties like orthopedics, emergency medicine, flight medicine, general surgery. So there's also fellowships that you can go back to school for and get a further certification or further doctorate degree. That you wouldn't be a medical doctor because you never went to med school, but you would have a doctorate in that specialty that just allows you to do more procedures, probably do more surgery time or operating room time with the actual.
So it's very broad, but it can also be very specific.
It can,
What
yeah.
what physical assistance? Okay.
Yeah.
Now I want to ask you this, man. From that to contacting me for something real estate related, how were you able to tie those two things together?
I don't know. Like I had been following your page on Instagram for some time and seeing all your real estate stuff. And so when I got out here, I was like, I think it's time to finally buy my first home.
Yeah.
And so just filled out your little questionnaire thing, and then you contacted me, and we went from there. So
Hell yeah, man. Well, I definitely appreciate, man, you reaching out. And essentially, guys, what I really want you guys to understand, man, like real estate is what I do for my day job. Okay, but my passion is to bring information, accurate information, bring the people that are actually doing these things right now, and essentially bring it out to the world, man. Like I knew that there was a program that could do this. I didn't even know how to even start it, man. And if I'm gonna take something out of this conversation, like Barry said before he abruptly left, something I would tell you is, man, like do not give up on that dream that you have right now, man. Like get a solid answer and get a solid response on the reason why you can or you cannot do something. And man, because trust me, man, like nobody is going to want something more than yourself for your own personal life and for your family, okay? So, brother, Hayden, I definitely appreciate you sitting down talking with me today. I really hope I'm gonna have to come up with a solid thumbnail for this one because I want to make sure that this podcast brings in the attention of as many people as possible. So that way, man, like a lot of people that are out there and might be like, man, I really want to become a Marine, but what I really want to do is do in the medical field, right?
Yeah.
You can get the Marine Corps experience under your belt, get yourself a job, for 4 years. Is there a time limit for like a certain amount of time that you have to be in the military?
yeah, not a time limit. It's just the rank requirement is E5 through E9. So
Oh, E539. Crazy.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so you can do 4 years for you can do 4 years, 8 years in the military, and then you be like, kind of like him, right? It's like, you know what? I really want to transition into doing this thing outside of the military. And I know that this is possible because, dude, my dad, I think I told you this. I'm not sure if I did. So my dad was in the Marine Corps for 16 years. I don't talk about this too much. I know it's a couple of my dad's friends that watch the podcast, but my dad was in the Marine Corps for 16 years. After that, he got his degree while he was in the Marine Corps as a civil engineer. And then after 16 years, he got commissioned in the Navy as a CB.
oh, nice. That's
And now
awesome,
he's
yeah.
been in the Navy for 38 years, dog.
Wow.
He saw me come in the Marine. He saw me come into Marine Corps. Saw me exit the Marine Corps, and I'm telling my dad, like, dude, like, when are you gonna hang it up? He's like, as long as I can run the what's it called, the APFT or whatever the fuck it's called in the Navy.
I think PFA or something.
Yeah, PFA or whatever. I'm staying in. I'm like, damn.
So they tell me to go.
Yep, you're a better person than I am. So, brother, thank you so much for coming, man. Where can people reach out to you if they have any questions regarding that package?
Yeah, I mean, they can hit me up on Instagram _Hayden Jolly or on Facebook. And it's not just limited to Marines or other service members. Like if there's people on the civilian side that just want to talk about physician assistant school, I'm more than willing to talk to them as well. But the main purpose of this was to get the word out as much as possible, because we talked about it not being a well-known program. And that's all I'm trying to do is get the word out as much as possible so that, you know, people can have an easier experience than I did, or the ones who went before me, and get the word out. And I mean, I'm more than happy to share whatever information or mentor somebody on the application process and pay it forward, basically, because, you know, I had the mentor, and, you know, I attribute a lot of my getting accepted into that program to him and the other mentors I had. So I'm more than happy to do it for other people as well.
That's awesome, man. Well, guys, as you guys know, you guys can go ahead and watch any of the videos that are going to be popping up over here, okay? Go to the link in my bio. Go ahead. The reason why this guy is here right now giving you that information is because he went to the link in the bio that I'm telling you to go right now, and he took advantage of the knowledge, and then now he's here spreading the word of whatever it is that he is doing, and then now he's willing to pay it forward to others, okay, guys? So go to the link in my bio. Go ahead and schedule a consultation with me, and don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe all of our social medias. I'll see you guys in the next one.